All right, so spent the last couple hours getting the variable frequency drive hooked up to the Bridgeport and running the electricity, etc. I have a couple more things to do. I'll go over my setup here in just a second. Mostly tonight was just kind of a proof of concept for me to make sure everything works. And I'll kind of go over some some things I identified that I was not expecting in terms of my variable frequency drive that I purchased, so on and so forth. So how the setup works, I have there's a 120 volt outlet back there that controls the light. It controls the digital readout, and it controls the crossfeed, the x-axis feed. So that is all an outlet right back there in the back. To power the motor is a three-phase motor. I have a variable frequency drive, just like I set up with my lathe. And how that's set up, and actually on this particular case, I have it set up to this little control panel right here, which is not the way I have it set up on my lathe, and I'll show you the difference here in just a minute. Basically, I have to figure out a way to attach that a little bit better. Basically, I have to, the forward reverse that switches up there on the motor, I cannot use it because there's a setting somewhere that I need to change on the variable frequency drive. I can't quite figure out which one it is. But anyway, want to use the mill run. And I can control from here, I can control forward reverse. I've got it in back gear right now because I was just kind of playing around with it. Okay. Now we'll just go ahead and stop it. And we will put it in high range. There we go. So now it's in high range. We're only going to do about 500 RPM. We'll press run. Now what's interesting is with this we can actually see the amps that we're pulling. So I'm pulling 2.5 amps right now. Now obviously if we go ahead and increase the speed, say 1600, we're pulling 3.5 amps. Lower it back down, 600 again. We're pulling 2.5 amps. Want to reverse it? All in all, it sounds pretty good. So in terms of the inverter, then you can stop it. But the problem I'm having is if this switch is in the off position like that right there, you can go ahead and start the VFD. So the VFD is inverting the power, but the problem is as soon as you turn the switch up here to particular forward or reverse, we throw an overload error. So it's just a matter of going through and trying to figure out what might be causing the error in my VFD. Now I'm going to go over to the lathe. Actually, I'll just walk over to the lathe and I'll show you how the lathe is set up. Actually, I got to turn the lathe on. So the lathe, and we're still working on organizing all this mess. So here are the VFDs over here. This is the VFD for the Bridgeport. This is the VFD for the lathe. The way the lathe is set up is it's set up to run, these are basically speaker wires, but there is a communications terminal up here. And what I have set up for the lathe is when you put it in forward, or you put it in reverse. And so the communication wires in this case will basically work with the signal. The Bridgeport, I've got to think about the wiring a little bit because it's a direct switch. In the case of the lathe, the switch was actually going to, and I took it all apart because I was looking at how we wired this and everything. The switch is going down to a junction box, and the switch is only controlling, the switch isn't directly going to the motor. And in this particular case, for the Bridgeport, the switch is directly going to the motor. In other words, there's no way I can really just tie in the way we did these speaker wires right here, or these communication wires. There's no real good way to do that. I'm hoping I can figure it out. That's just going to take me a little bit of time and thinking. I am not very good with electricity, although I am learning. But overall, I think that this came together pretty well. Got the second VFD mounted up in here. Got everything, I think everything, set pretty good. Got the, I got our ground wires and everything run. Overall, really, really happy with it. So, now that we have everything kind of set up, and you can see my communication wire right here to the panel over there. I've just got it running down the conduit right now. I think overall, now that I'm comfortable with the lathe and the Bridgeport setup, now I can start working on organizing the rest of the shop around all of this. So in the coming videos, I'm actually going to be doing a lot of reorganization. One of the reasons that the shop is so messy at the moment is because, if you go back and look at some of my old videos, all this used to be the 40-ton hydraulic press was sitting here. There was a bookshelf or a kind of a, shelf section over there. The press is now by the door. The table that was by the door is now here, and I'm actually going to I'm going to install some additional lighting over here, things along those lines. So really getting ready to do a major reorganization of the shop, try to get it a little bit more cleaner, or ooh, that's great English. Try to get it a little bit cleaner. Hopefully, get everything a little bit more organized. That's what we're headed to in the next couple days. Ultimately, what we're going to do is I'm actually going to transition away from that bench. That's going to be kind of a small project bench. And in the back here, where those two tractors are right now, that will actually be my new kind of area where I work on machines, stuff like that. At least that's my plan right now. So I'm going to keep working on all this. Got the Bridgeport set up, so now I can, work on practicing a little bit. As you see, I already had a mill in here, and I just kind of shaved off the end of this old draft arm for a 110. So I'm going to keep practicing. Once I feel like I can actually talk about what I'm doing, I will. I'm pretty sure I will mess up in some point in time, and I'll tell you about those. The Bridgeport, it's overall in pretty good shape, but I think it needs some TLC here and there, so I might do some videos on that. And also, I have lost my knee handle. I thought it was in one of these black boxes right here with everything else that I got with the mill, and I don't know where it went, so I got to find it. It's around here somewhere. I've seen it since I got back with the mill. So if you have any questions, comments, leave them below. Next project is we're going to make some feet for the mill. We'll work on that in the next couple days. I'll work on that as I have time. I'm going to take some thick 1-inch metal from an F145 John Deere plow, and I'm going to cut those to length, and then I'm going to drill them out for some bolts, and then I have some leveling feet coming, and I'll drill holes for leveling feet. So that'll be the next thing that I need to do with Bridgeport. So thanks for watching.